IAC-1 Vikrant. Today, India has one of the largest navies in the world, and the aircraft carriers are feathers in that Indian cap. Indian Navy has deployed aircraft carriers for over 60 years. However, from the old Vikrant, which was India's first aircraft carrier, to the Vikramaditya, which is currently in service in the Navy, all these vessels were purchased from other countries. India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier IAC-1 or the new Vikrant is a welcome change from this. In this video, we will discuss about the reason behind why India built its own aircraft carrier despite multiple obstacles and hardships. We will also learn more about the features of Vikrant. At the time of independence, India had just a small navy of fewer than 25 ships. However, this force was inadequate to secure a country with 7,000 kilometers of coastline and adversaries on either sides. The Indian Navy was determined to build a powerful blue water navy considering the sheer strategic importance of Indian Ocean region. It required an aircraft carrier with great striking power and aerial capabilities to accomplish this, and thus ended up with HMS Hercules in Britain. The construction of this aircraft carrier was initiated by the British Navy in 1943 during the World War II, but was abandoned after the war. Post-war, Britain was neck-deep in debt, and when India approached Britain to purchase the carrier, the British were more than happy to sell it. India bought the ship in 1957, completed the remaining works and commissioned it in 1961. This was the first INS Vikrant. With the introduction of this ship, India became the first country in Asia to use aircraft carriers post-World War II. The aircraft carrier, which had a displacement of 19,500 tons, could transport up to 23 aircrafts, including Seahawk and Sea King helicopters. Vikrant's first mission was in 1961, which was Operation Vijay. The ship, however, did not play a significant role in the operation, other than just to monitor the movement of Portuguese Navy, who were expected to approach the Goan coast by sea. During the 1965 Indo-Pak War II, the ship could not make significant contribution, as it was on the dock for repairs. However, Vikrant's role in the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971 was valiant. Fighter jets that took off from Vikrant, which is stationed on the coast of Bengal, lit up East Pakistan. The aircraft carrier's contribution too during that war, in which 90,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered, cannot be overlooked. But by then, Vikrant's many problems were becoming obvious. The boiler began to leak as the ship became older, and the hull was debilitated. Vikrant was sent from India for her first major refit. In the meantime, Indian Navy was trying to buy a larger carrier. The intention was that a second aircraft carrier is needed to ensure operational readiness at any time, especially if one was under maintenance. With that, India acquires HMS Hermes. The ship was built during the World War II, just as the Vikrant. The aircraft carrier was renamed INS Virat by India in 1987 and was modernized before induction. With two aircraft carriers, the Indian Navy was very powerful at the time itself. However, Vikrant had to undergo a second major refit just a few years later. That's when Indian Navy realized that the ship will have to be retired soon. The Navy planned to replace these two obsolete aircraft carriers with new Indian-made aircraft carriers based on modern technology. The Indian Navy intended to construct two carriers of the same size as that of INS Virat. It was decided that construction will be done at Cochin Shipyard, which had all the necessary infrastructure to build such massive warships. However, due to the financial crisis that shook India in the early 1990s, large sums could not be spent on them. As a result, the Union Ministry of Defence asked the Indian Navy to consider the design of relatively small carriers rather than massive, expensive ones. The Garibaldi class design by the Italian company Fincantieri was an example. The Indian Navy, on the other hand, was reluctant to accept the design of such carriers, which was not even half the size of their current aircraft carriers. so they put pressure on the Ministry of Defence to get their design approved. A new proposal was made, in which two smaller aircraft carriers, each with 17,500 ton displacement, was to be built. The Navy refused to accept this as well. Only helicopters and small aircrafts like the Sea Harriers could operate from such small carriers. Not only did these ships have less operational range, but also lesser ability to carry potent weapons. This design, according to the Navy, was entirely inadequate for India's demands. The Navy wished to procure an aircraft carrier that could transport heavy planes and had a well-operating range and capability. As a result, they put their two carrier projects on hold and focused on other ventures. In 1997, Indian Navy restarted the new carrier project again at the time of decommissioning of old INS Vikrant. The second aircraft carrier, INS Virat, was also nearing the end of its service life at the time. Meanwhile, because of its difficult financial position, Russia offered its aircraft carrier Admiral Gorshkov to India. India then began negotiations to buy it. The ship, however, was an aircraft cruiser that needed to be modified to meet Indian Navy's requirements. While Russia was renovating the ship, they raised the price multiple times. This irked India to a great deal. At one point, India was on the verge of abandoning the project completely. These terrible experiences prompted India to build aircraft carriers on her own. Even after considerable weight and expense, what we would get is a second-hand warship. By then, India didn't have to rely on other countries for building aircraft carriers and had developed the necessary skills. India's Directorate of Naval Design had drawn the blueprints for the new Vikrant after recognizing India's needs and limitations. A perfect example of this is that Vikrant's design is in accordance with the dimensions for the building dock at Cochin Shipyard, the place chosen to build the ship. Despite this, India had to face numerous hurdles even at the beginning of shipbuilding. The availability of military-grade steel for shipbuilding was one of the most challenging factors. Earlier, the plan was to import such strong steel from Russia. However, due to a price dispute, Russia refused to provide steel to India. Subsequently, the Steel Authority of India developed and manufactured about 26,000 tons of steel for the ship with the support of DRDO. The ship's construction was delayed because of this. Today, India can produce military-grade steel for half the cost of imported steel. Today, 76% of Vikrant's parts, including steel, are made in India. More than 50 Indian companies have partnered in the construction of this ship. In addition, the aircraft carrier, which was built in India, directly employed roughly 2,000 Indians and indirectly employed about 40,000 more. Thus, about 85% of the project value was returned to the Indian economy. The ship, which is presently undergoing sea trials in Kochi, is expected to be part of Indian Navy by 2022. The surface area of this aircraft carrier's upper deck is equivalent to 1.5 football fields, and she has a displacement of 45,000 tons. The ship can accommodate up to 40 aircrafts, including 30 aircrafts and 10 helicopters. The Vikrant can accommodate 196 officers, 1,449 sailors, and has state-of-art weapons. The ship also has ELTA-STAR and ESSA radar sensors, L-band aerial surveillance radars, 64 Barrack air defense missiles, and 4 AK-630 rifles with instantaneous firing capability. The ship has 14 decks and is powered by 4 powerful GE LM2500 gas turbine engines. The carrier can also reach a maximum speed of 30 knots per hour. Today, our own INS Vikrant is a great example of how to effectively overcome the challenges that arise when innovative technology and weapons are produced locally. The aircraft carrier is also a significant step towards India's aim of establishing a 3-carrier battle group in the Indian Ocean region. Let's hope that Indian-made weapons and products can enhance India's reputation globally. Jai Hind.